Rob Brender with manager of the Las Vegas 51s, Wally Backman. Wally, a lot of prospects on this team. Obviously, everybody knows about Wheeler and d'Arnaud. Let's talk about them just a little bit specifically. You've seen Zach Wheeler in 2 starts now. What are your thoughts?
Well, I like Zach. I had him a little bit last year. You know, he's a power pitcher with a plus breaking ball as well. You know, and when he's right, he's pretty nasty. I mean, he's not going to be here very long, I don't think. Once he figures it out, gets a little more consistent with his location, he'll be ready to go to the big leagues.
You worked with Matt Harvey quite a bit last year as well. Do you see any similarities in their game?
Well, they're both power arm guys, you know, and there are similarities between both of them. You know, they strive to be the best at what they're doing. It's really showed in Harv since he left us. He was a little bit bored, I think, in AAA last year, and when he went to the big leagues, you really seen what type of guy he can become, and I really believe Wheeler's the same type of guy.
I know the organization loves Travis d'Arnaud. There's a reason why they went out and traded for him. In the first couple of weeks of watching him play, what are your thoughts on him?
Very solid all-around player. You know, he really knows how to call a game, control the pitching staff. You know, he's a kid that's got power, that's going to hit for an average, got above-average tools. You know, the only thing that Travis might lack is he's probably just a touch below average in his running speed, but he's a catcher, and that's not really going to matter. So he's a kid, another kid that, you know, I know John Buck's doing a heck of a job in the big leagues right now, but when Travis is ready, he's going to go.
Do you find that he's as strong on the defensive side of the ball as he is offensively?
I think so. I think Travis is a complete player.
When it comes to the play of Wilmer Flores, obviously a natural third baseman, now moving over to second a little bit. You played him there last night. Saw you hitting ground balls to him today during BP. What are your thoughts on when you move a player like that over to a new position?
Well, you know, the thing with Wilmer, when he signed, he was a shortstop, and he got a little bit big. They've tried to move him to third base, and he's got real good hands defensively. Range is a little bit limited, you know. I mean, with the way the game is today, though, with all the information that you have, I really believe that Wilmer Flores is going to be a Jeff Kent type of second baseman. Not a real rangy guy, a guy that can turn the double play, but the bat's really going to play for him.
You go from managing in Buffalo and now into the Pacific Coast League, where the wind, as we're watching right now during batting practice for the Sky Sox, is blowing directly out to center field. Pretty much anything in the air is going to go. It's a league like that. How do you get your hitters to avoid thinking about trying to hit home runs?
Well, you know, we were talking about it batting practice today, just really concentrating on hitting line drives, getting your hits. You know, don't try to lift the ball. I've seen a couple of players on the other team last night, you know, with the swing that they have, pretty easy to pitch to. They're going to get their home runs swinging the way that they're swinging, but when you get to the ultimate level, guys are going to eat you up. So you really got to stay within yourself. Think about hitting line drives. The home runs are generally accidents anyway. It's just a ball that you lift in the air a little bit, but the guys so far have been real good about it.
You have Robert Carson pitching in the bullpen for you, a left-hander. You got Familia out there, 2 guys that have gotten a taste of the big leagues, trying to get back there right now. What have you seen out of them?
Well, I've seen good things out of them. You know, Familia's only pitched twice for me so far, but you know, with Bobby, I had Bobby and Familia. I've had those guys for a couple of years as well, and you know, they're power arm pitchers. Familia's got a power sinker and a power breaking ball. You know, Bobby's changed his grip a little bit on his slider to get a little more depth with his slider, and I really think when Bobby does that, he's going to be a force in the big leagues as well.
What are your thoughts on the organization as a whole? Speaking of Wally Backman, right now you're managing again in AAA, second consecutive year, but although a different league. The organization seems as though it's getting deeper and deeper with all these prospects.
It really is, especially the pitching side of it. You know, there's a couple of guys, Montero down in AA, but there's a few guys down there. I can't think of them right offhand, but that are power arm pitchers. The pitching is very good throughout the whole system, from our high A club all the way up to AAA here, and there's some real serious pitching prospects that are coming along. Position players, you know, with the new regime that came in a few years ago with Alderson and them and DePodesta, you know, they went out and we really needed middle infielders. They signed a kid for a lot of money. I think his name is Rosario. That's a young Latin kid that can really play short, and his bat's really going to play someday. Reynolds, another guy that was a high draft pick for us, I believe, last year. Just from seeing him in spring training, he's another guy that's a complete player. So they've really built up the organization on the minor league side, and with the pitching that's there and going out and getting the people in the middle of the field. That's how you really want to build your team, is through the middle. So they've went out and done those things, and the organization is going to get stronger as time goes.
Last question I have for you, Wally. As a manager in AAA, when you see some of those guys graduate to the big league level, you take a lot of pride in that, I'm assuming?
Well, I know that I'm a piece of the puzzle. You know, I make sure that they get the work done. Me and Terry talk on a regular basis. up there, and so we're talking about it all the time. What we see in these players, what we think that they can do at the major league level, and we go with that forward and try to develop them for that.
Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks.